Marvel's Spider-Man games have undergone a remarkable evolution, from the development phase to their current status as a beloved series in the gaming world. With the release of Marvel's Spider-Man by Insomniac Games in 2018, the franchise reached new heights.
Come on, Peter.
Offering an experience worthy of Spider-Man's legacy. And with the highly anticipated release of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, there's no better time to swing through the captivating journey of this iconic gaming series.
Yes, we will.
This is the evolution of Marvel's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the most famous superheroes of all time. Since the 1960s, the character has inspired many books, movies, and games. To this day, he remains one of the most popular superheroes of all time.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
And is a favored role model for kids and adults alike. Because, let's face it, your chances of getting bitten by a radioactive spider are probably better than winning the lottery. Although Spider-Man has appeared in several video games since 1982, there was much more potential for a great video game. So, in 2018, a masterpiece was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 4. Marvel's Spider-Man immediately revolutionized the concept of web swinging, and we finally got the Spider-Man game we've been waiting for.
Peter, it's time to get up.
The only thing missing is a feature where Spider-Man has to dodge New York pigeons.
Okay.
Let's start at the very beginning, when the Marvel's Spider-Man game was still in development, back when Spidey's biggest enemy was a pile of code and a deadline. Almost immediately after Insomniac Games developed Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One, they started working on Marvel's Spider-Man. Venturing into licensed gaming for the first time, Insomniac was like a kid in a superhero candy store. They picked Spider-Man, and suddenly, they were the Willy Wonka of the gaming world. The idea for a Spider-Man game came after a discussion between Connie Booth from Sony Interactive Entertainment and Ted Price, the CEO of Insomniac. Booth asked Price what he thought about working on a game based on a Marvel Comics property. Although, according to him, his initial response was fairly neutral, developers at Insomniac were very excited about the idea. Over the years, Marvel has introduced countless superheroes and other characters, and this gave Insomniac the freedom to choose any character they liked. Furthermore, Marvel didn't just hand them a movie script or a stack of comics and say, "Go for it." No, they were like, "Hey, Insomniac, unleash your inner Stan Lee and make us an original masterpiece." Insomniac eventually chose Spider-Man because he was considered the most relatable character. The team liked the dynamic between the heroic Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Creative director Brian Intihar said, "I feel like he's the most relatable of the heroes. As much as I love Tony Stark, it's harder to identify with a billionaire. As much as I love Thor, it's hard to identify with a god. Peter makes mistakes. He has ups and downs in his career, his relationships, his family. I think we can all relate to that." The concept phase started in 2014, when Insomniac set their sights higher than Spider-Man on a skyscraper. Some of the major goals Insomniac set out to achieve were creating a perfect story, finding a voice for the characters, finding out how to make Spider-Man traverse through New York City, and creating combat moves that would leave even Bruce Lee web-struck. Fun fact, did you know that Spider-Man almost didn't get published by Marvel Comics? When Stan Lee presented the character to his publisher, the latter was not a fan. The publisher claimed that people hate spiders, and therefore thought it wouldn't make sense to create a spider-themed superhero.
Listen, I told him. This was my reaction, the reaction he gave me.
Stan, that is the worst idea I have ever heard. First of all, people hate spiders, so you can't call a hero Spider-Man.
So to test the appearance of Spider-Man, he got his trial run in Amazing Fantasy, a comic series that was practically on its last ink drop. Well, the debut became a huge success, and the rest is history.
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it.
At the heart of the game is the art of swinging. The team designed a New York City playground, probably the only New York City where you won't find a hot dog stand. The swinging had to feel and look right. This meant that the web had to attach to buildings instead of just shooting into the clouds. To create the world and gameplay, Insomniac used a proprietary engine previously used in Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive had many similarities in gameplay since it also focused on fast-paced traversing through the world with high jumps and skillful moves. Working on this game before Marvel's Spider-Man helped Insomniac achieve the silky smooth movement of Spider-Man swinging around Manhattan rooftops. In the alpha phase, the team made sure the world was visually improved and worked on fight scenes. Spider-Man was able to jump, play a game of stick the bad guy to the floor with his web, and give enemies a surprise flying lesson. During the latter part of this stage, the city was starting to look more realistic, with people and cars on the streets. The combat also became more refined. Nevertheless, the game had its fair share of glitches.
He'll be fine.
As pointed out by game developer Elin Ruskin in a comical presentation.
It's good. Yeah, also we got a Brooklyn Bridge, but no Brooklyn.
In the final phase of development, there were numerous test plays. Insomniac aimed to minimize loading screens, despite the immense detail in their rendition of Manhattan. On the right side, you can see the cutscene in the game, while on the left, you can observe buildings and objects disappearing to reduce loading times. The lighting also changes to create a more cinematic atmosphere. The team also emphasized the plot, understanding the challenge of creating a fantastic original story. Marvel Studios provided valuable assistance. One of the crucial aspects of the storyline was maintaining a balance between Peter Parker's life and Spider-Man's adventures. The team realized that whenever Spider-Man triumphed, Peter Parker faced setbacks, and vice versa. Furthermore, Spider-Man's traversal through the city was continuously refined and updated until its release. According to the creative director Brian Intihar, the team members kept coming up with creative ideas. And guess what? Some of those wild cards sneaked into the game just 3 months before launch, like Scorpion and Electro. Finally, in 2018, Marvel's Spider-Man was released as a PlayStation 4 exclusive. This open-world adventure sweeps you off your feet and drops you right into the concrete jungle of Manhattan. And who's at the center of it all? Spider-Man, of course. Watch him swing and soar through the city like a web-slinging acrobat. The game also features a lot of combat action with countless combat moves. During fights, Spider-Man can also use a variety of gadgets that can be upgraded. Every hero needs a wardrobe change, even Spider-Man. Dive into Marvel's universe with over 40 suits to unlock, many of which have unique powers. Of course, we can't talk about the game without mentioning the story. This isn't a Spider-Man you've seen before. The original story switches between Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Throughout the plot, you engage in many missions and try to defeat antagonists, such as Electro, Vulture, Rhino, and Scorpion to save the lives of residents of New York City.
Remember, he said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
Following the release of Marvel's Spider-Man, Insomniac wanted to keep players entertained, so they released a DLC named The City That Never Sleeps in 2018. The DLC has 3 chapters: The Heist, Turf Wars, and Silver Lining. Fast forward 3 months after the main events of the original game, and what do you know? New York City decided it was time for another round of mayhem. Leading the parade of chaos, none other than mob boss Hammerhead.
Time to bring the fear back.
Good evening, New York. Welcome to tonight's entertainment.
The PlayStation 5 in 2020 brought with it an updated Spider-Man game, visuals, faster performance, and 3 new suits to try out. The DualSense controller also adds a new feeling to the game with its special feedback. Marvel's Spider-Man didn't just swing into our gaming hearts, it soared. Celebrated for its graphics, gameplay mechanics, and interesting narrative, critics are dubbing it a superhero gaming masterpiece. And the numbers back it up. A proud score of 87 on Metacritic and a whopping 33 million units sold since its release. Fun fact, Yuri Lowenthal, the voice behind Spider-Man, has been everywhere in the gaming universe. He's snuck through zombie-infested buildings in The Last of Us, engaged in chaotic street warfare in Saints Row, and even called in airstrikes in Call of Duty. Let's not forget his foray into the dungeons of World of Warcraft. If voice acting were like Pokemon, Yuri would be the Ash Ketchum of the industry. Gotta voice them all. In November 2020, Insomniac released a spin-off Marvel Spider-Man game titled Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PlayStation 4 and 5. Diving deep into the rich Marvel universe, the game follows the superhero, Miles Morales, drawing inspiration from the vibrant animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the captivating pages of comic book lore. It's a journey through both fresh and familiar. The game reaches new heights on the PlayStation 5, leveraging the console's powerful processor, swift custom SSD storage for zero loading screens, and specialized ray tracing capabilities. Players get a visually stunning experience, and with the DualSense controller's haptic feedback, the action feels more real than ever. The game's heart stays true to its predecessor, embracing the familiar gameplay and the vast open world, but the experience is elevated with revamped animations, skills, powers, and tools. Parkour through New York feels smoother and more dynamic. And yes, Miles isn't left behind. He's got a wardrobe of unlockable suits and a fresh tale with new villains to fight. Picking up where Marvel's Spider-Man left off, the game delves into Miles Morales' journey after he honed his spidery skills, thanks to a year-long mentorship with Peter Parker. Even though the game is shorter than its predecessor, it was still very well received. XGN said about the game, quote, "Spider-Man Miles Morales improves on the original in many ways thanks to the new hardware. Amazing story and characters. Being a bit shorter actually improved the pace, while the music gives Miles' adventure a unique style and personality." With a score of 85 on Metacritic for its PS5 version, the game has proven its success, and the sales numbers back it up, with over 6.5 million copies sold. Fun fact, here's a heartwarming Easter egg for Marvel fans. Within the game, players can stumble upon a statue honoring the legendary Stan Lee. The touching inscription at its base reads, "Dedicated with love to the man who fed the hearts, minds, and souls of those who truly believe everywhere. Excelsior." In 2021, the web of anticipation finally broke. Insomniac announced Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Talks about a proper sequel had already begun during the development of the original game in 2018. Both Marvel's Spider-Man and its spin-off, Miles Morales, even included post-credits scenes alluding to the introduction of Venom and the return of Norman and Harry Osborn in more prominent roles at some point. And when unveiling Miles Morales at Sony's PlayStation 5 reveal event in June 2020, Insomniac stated that a standalone title featuring Miles as the protagonist would not detract from the fact they had much of Peter's story left to tell. Fans eagerly awaited word on the sequel, and their patience was finally rewarded on September 9th, 2021, with its official announcement. Set 10 months after the events of Spider-Man Miles Morales, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 sees voice actors Yuri Lowenthal and Najee Eater reprise their roles as Peter Parker and Miles Morales respectively. This time, they're pairing up against the incredible power of the symbiote, Venom. In the process, both Peter and Miles are forced to face their ultimate test of strength, both inside and outside the mask.
The city's being torn apart. I don't know if I'm strong enough to save it.
Do I have what it takes to protect the people I love?
As they balance their lives, friendships, and their duty to protect those in need.
Neither will I. This is my power.
My responsibility. I am Spider-Man.
As before, players can acquire new abilities and collect various Spider-Man suits throughout the campaign. You'll be able to swing, jump, and utilize new web wings, which, when deployed, allow you to glide across the city and travel across New York. You can quickly switch between Peter Parker and Miles Morales to experience different stories and epic new powers, as the iconic villain Venom threatens to destroy their lives, their city, and the ones they love. Other new and iconic villains, such as the ruthless Kraven the Hunter and the volatile Lizard, will also make an appearance. Breaking away from the norm, the game opts for a twist. Eddie Brock isn't the host for the notorious symbiote Venom. The unconventional choice by creative director Brian Intihar is driven by a desire to craft a unique story, one that diverges from the familiar comic and film narratives, yet stays true to Venom's essence. The game broadens the horizons of New York City's open world, inviting players to explore beyond Manhattan's skyscrapers and into Brooklyn and Queens. The fresh edition nearly doubles the playground compared to the previous installment. Each Spider-Man's gadget wheel has been upgraded with additional mods for their web shooters, such as a web line and the web grabber, allowing for multiple ways to take down enemies in a satisfying, stealthy manner. Adding to the intrigue, Peter Parker will be playable when bonded to Venom, granting him tendrils and unique web-based abilities that he can use during combat. Mark your calendars for October 20th, 2023, as the much-anticipated PlayStation 5 exclusive is set to launch. Insomniac Games are really crushing the superhero genre, and I'm very excited for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and more titles they will release in the future.
How to help you?
What the hell's going on with Pete?
He's not himself. Go help him.
Want to watch more Game Evolutions? Make sure to subscribe and don't miss out. There's a whole Game Evolutions playlist waiting for you on the right.